Good morning and welcome to Morning Brew on Politics Social. I am Graham Hughes. Hello, nice to have you with us this morning. We've got in the chat, we've got Liam, we've got Paula, we've got One Angry Pagan, we have Captain Coconut. How you doing? We've got Harry Flashman in there, we've got Veg Pie, Colin Baker, Martin Harrow, Victoria T, Saz, Diz, you name it. Witchy Goth, hello, hiya, how you doing? If you'd like to join our friends in the chat here, and we all are friends here, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button. Wait for about approximately 60 seconds. Be patient. 60 seconds. That's all you have to wait. And then you can, if you so wish, join our friends in the chat. But the rule is, don't be a troll. Do not be a troll. Why is Windows suggesting games to me? I do not play games. I do not play games. Anyway, today we're going to talk about the Nobel Peace Prize, amongst other things. But it's going to be announced today, the Nobel Peace Prize. A bit unusual, right? The Peace Prize, because it was Alfred Nobel who came up with the idea of giving a load of money to a consortium group of people in I think it was 1895, right? To set up these various prizes for excellence in science, literature, and peace. He did this after reading a obituary about himself, an accidentally printed obituary, which I think his brother died and they thought it was him. I mean, it was back in the day before the internet, so who knows what was happening. And he was called apparently in this article. They weren't very pleasant about old Alfred. They called him the Merchant of Death. The reason being is he developed dynamite. He was the guy who managed to find a way of getting nitroglycerin, which is famously unstable, like proper fucking unstable. Like, you knock it too hard and it blows up. Anyone who's seen the film Wages of Fear or the remake by William Friedkin, Sorcerer, good films. Anyone who's seen those movies will attest to the absolute ball-shattering terror that is nitroglycerin. You drop it, it blows up. And oh my God, it blows up. He found a way of stabilizing it and allowing it to be used as dynamite, which was great for, I don't know, digging quarries and making holes and mining, I guess. But also great for killing humans. So, yeah. And it's not like he can pretend that he didn't know that would be the consequence of his invention, because his dad used to make armaments. He worked for his dad for a bit, making armaments for the Russian military. They used to make sea mines, which were like barrels full of gunpowder or something that ships would plow into, and then they would blow up and destroy the ship. This is in the 1850s or something. It was a long time ago. Don't ask me details. I wasn't very sober back then. Right. Anyway, so he read this obituary about himself, calling him the Merchant of Death, or words to that effect, and it wasn't very nice. And so he went, fuck, this is going to be my legacy. I'm going to be seen around the world as this guy who invented this terrible, terrible thing. Oppenheimer syndrome, before Oppenheimer, obviously, because that came after. So he decided that he would have something nice named after himself. And that nice thing was the Nobel Prizes. So there was the prize for medicine, not biology, medicine, the prize for chemistry, the prize for physics. There was the Peace Prize, and there was the prize for literature. I think there was just 5 to start with. The prize for economics came out in the mid to late 60s. I think that was just sponsored by a Swedish bank that wanted to give bank managers a fucking prize for making loads of money for capitalism. It's the Capitalist Club prize, which was won by the Milton Friedman, who is the author of the Chicago School of Economics, which, for those uninitiated, is basically libertarianism, selfish, reset to zero, start again, tabula rasa with the economy, and set it all up in favor of the rich versus everybody else. That informed a lot of the free market economics of the 1980s, beloved of Thatcher and Reagan, that we're still living under the shadow of now. That's why our parents' generation have more money than us. Thanks for that, Reagan. Thanks, Thatcher. I remember coming here. I was coming back from Ukraine on one of my journeys over there, coming back with refugees, and they were going to be living in Stockport. So I was driving up from the coast up to Manchester, and we stopped at a service station. And I remember the mum, Natasha, saying to me, Graham, why are the old people driving brand new cars? It was a really good question because we don't even think about it. But, you know, in most countries around the world, when you're in your autumn years, generally speaking, you're looked after by your working family. You're not quite as financially independent as people are these days. Not everyone. 1 in 5 pensioners are living in poverty, but 1 in 5 pensioners are millionaires. So there you go. We can all thank Milton Friedman for that. So I don't think there should be a prize for economics. Veg pie. If Trump gets it, it's the stupidest day in history. I'm gonna just say this. I really seriously doubt he'll get it, and I'm gonna explain why. But yeah, thank you very much for the super chat. So Alfred Nobel, Swedish, right? But decided that the Peace Prize should be Norwegian. Okay? Now, at the time, I'm pretty sure Norway was ruled by Denmark. So, okay. And the 5 people, I think, who make up the Peace Committee, who decide who gets the Peace Prize, whether it's Jose Ramos Horta of East Timor or Timor-Leste, or whether it's going to be Yitzhak Rabin and Yasser Arafat, or whether it's going to be Henry Kissinger, or the internet, or Barack Obama, who have all won the Peace Prize in the past. They are selected by the Norwegian government. Norwegian members of parliament select the committee, which by its very nature makes it a little bit political. So now, Norway, the country of Norway, which wasn't where Alfred Nobel was from, as far as I know. He was from Sweden, different country, whatever, right? They're gonna feel the wrath of Donald Trump, and they're preparing for it. They're preparing for it. The government of Norway is preparing for the hissy fit that the tangerine toddler, that Cheeto Benito, that this disgusting tangerine tyrant is going to throw if he doesn't get his Peace Prize. But here's the thing. They made a decision on Monday. This peace... No, it's not a peace deal. This ceasefire in the Middle East wasn't announced till later in the week. Wasn't announced till Wednesday. So, yeah, this isn't going to influence them. Do you know what might influence them? Trump's insurrection against his own people. Trump sending troops out to his own cities. Trump threatening Panama and Greenland and Canada with invasion. Trump putting massive tariffs on all these countries around the world. The fact that he's an adjudicated rapist, I think that might, be taken into consideration. I don't think he's going to get it. If he does, I'm rich veg pie, it will be the stupidest day in history. I mean, there is an argument just to give him it, to shut him up. Who cares? Just a fucking gong. Gives a shit. But, here we are. Umka, thank you very much for the €5. €5. Ooh, thank you for the euros. We like euros. So-called neoliberalism is a poor excuse for a bad government. Eventually, small government mantra leads to oligarchy and then to fascism. See the USA. Yep. Yeah, I mean, it leads to communism. It leads to everything being the same. The same products arriving in the same packaging. The same restaurants driving along the street. The same outlets where you can buy things. The same products repeated again and again and again. Replicated across an entire nation. Struggling for some kind of, sense of ID. So it's a sense of who they are. What their culture is. What's your culture? It's capitalism. And capitalism will always lead to communism because it means that everyone's the same. Except for the oligarchs who are in charge, which is every time communism has been tried on this planet, that's the way it's always ended up. Sorry, you might think it's a good idea on paper. I don't think it's a good idea on paper in the same way that I don't think that capitalism is a good idea even on paper, because they fail in the same respect. They fail to take into account human greed. And while we have 1% of greedy, psychopathic motherfuckers, neither pure communism or pure capitalism is ever going to work. We need something in between. Pure cooperativism, where people who are greedy are punished for being greedy. But we live in a society where you are rewarded for being greedy. If you have enough money and you decide to invest in certain things that are bad for humans, like tobacco and alcohol and gambling and, I don't know, weapons of war, you end up making shitloads more money than you would if you invested in the local orphanage. So not only are they rewarding greed, they're rewarding people being evil. Also, as Tony Robinson pointed out, was it Tony Robinson? Oh no, it was the guy from Peep Show. What's his name? Mitchell and Webb. David Mitchell. David Mitchell pointed this out. Like, we get rewarded in this country for avoiding tax. Like, not paying the right amount of tax, finding a clever loophole so you pay the minimum amount of tax. People brag about it. That's greed. It's pure greed. And it's celebrated. It's celebrated. It's not condemned. We say, oh, well, that's tax avoidance. It's not tax evasion. It's tax avoidance, and that's okay. My God. Paula Thomas, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. The Economics Prize is not a Nobel Prize. It's awarded by the Swedish Central Bank the day after the actual prizes. Yeah, it's the Booby Prize. It's the Booby Prize for being the capitalist of all capitalists for that particular year. Well done, the bankers. The bankers wanted the gong. They wanted to get in on it. But isn't that really shit that people see it as the Nobel Prize for Economics? Paula, thanks for the super chat. You're absolutely right. It drives me up the wall. You know, I imagine that Alfred Nobel will be turning in his grave over the fact that there's an economics prize that somehow has his name on it. And I do believe that his family sued the people who put together the economics. Didn't that happen? But because the people who put together the economics prize are all the fucking billionaires and trillionaires of the world, they trillionaire companies, they quickly got swept under the carpet by the sheer force of nature. Sorry, I mean money. But there you go. Norway not in the EU. Don't worry, Graham, with our digital ID, our government can remind us who we are if we forget. Oh yeah, good point. Thank you very much. Well made. Colin, Obama won the Peace Prize for saying nice things on the campaign trail. Obama's class act, but Nobel Committee did themselves no favours back then. No, I don't think it was just for saying nice things on the campaign trail. I think that it was genuinely an outpouring of appreciation. The fact that America, it felt like, at the time, had really turned a corner. Obviously, it hadn't. Well, maybe it did turn a corner, then turned again and went 180 degrees back to where it came. But yeah, the fact that a black guy could become president of the United States of America. That was quite remarkable, considering the history of the United States of America. And although he never spent, fucking 30 years in Robben Island like Nelson Mandela did before he became the first black leader of his country. I can see the mood for optimism, but that rankled Donald Trump, didn't it? He wasn't very happy about that, was he? No, he kicked off. Anyway, I'm going to go over to the papers a bit early because I just want to show what the right wing, Right, this is what the Daily Express have, because they're fucking idiots. Go away, advert. Israelis and Palestinians unite celebrating US president's historic deal. And they've actually called it Trump's peace. Which, screen cap that. Okay? Because we can use that in the future when it all kicks off again, which it will, because this conflict has been going on for centuries. Tell you what, you just screen cap that, and then you can use that as a sarcastic thing underneath a picture of some horror that has happened in the Middle East. Here's a horrific story on the top of the star here. Ex-Radio 1 DJ, Tim Westwood, privately educated, of course, accused of sex attacks on 7 women. Now, here's a question for you, my friends. Do you think, yes or no, A bunch of gammon-faced morons are going to surround private schools like the one from whence Westwood came and say they're going to protect women by protesting outside these private schools and screaming at the children within that they are all rapists and murderers because Tim Westwood has been charged with 4 counts of rape. I'll wait. Commanded to do so by the likes of Nigel Farage, privately educated, and Richard Tice, privately educated. Are you seeing a pattern? Are you seeing a pattern of entitlement? Graham Linehan, privately educated. That's funny, isn't it? Someone who's, gone absolutely fucking doolally in his hatred for trans people. He learned. Where did he pick up that level of arrogance? How do these people shed their imposter syndrome? How do these people think that it's okay to behave like this? Because they just keep getting away with it, and we let them. We fucking let them get away with it until it gets to the point where this rapist doesn't just rape one woman, he rapes at least 4 women, indecently assaults at least 7. And then only finally, and maybe dozens more that have not had the evidence or not had the wherewithal or the ability to bring it to court or bring it to the police. You don't know what those people's circumstances were, those women's circumstances were. And there's no, in cases like this, I know people want to go, but he's not been found guilty yet. He's not been found, but there's no smoke without fire. There's no smoke without fire. I don't give a fuck how many court cases the money of Kevin Spacey fucking wins, okay? Because O.J. Simpson got away with it. He fucking did it. There is no doubt in anyone's mind that he fucking did it. But he got away with it. Of course he did. Same with Kevin Spacey. Oh, he took him to court and he won, yeah. Because he had loads of fucking money. And these were just fucking guys who he had abused 20 years ago. How'd you prove it? How'd you prove it against a multi-millionaire? It's very fucking difficult in a society that naturally blames the victims and sides with the perpetrators of these fucking crimes. I just want to call out the hypocrisy here because it drives me up the fucking wall. It drives me up the wall. This had been an asylum seeker who had done this. Oh my God, the riots we would have had. The riots, because they're all like this, they're all like this. Well, okay, can I say they're all like this who went to private school? No, I can't. There's probably people watching this who went to private school. Hey, great, fuck off. I went to private school. I'm going around raping people. Yeah, no, you don't. But, god damn, there are so many people in the public eye who just get away with murder, mass murder, in the case of Matt Hancock, by dint of the fact they went to a fucking, posh school. Mummy and daddy could afford the fees. What hell? They moved in these rarefied circles. Anyway, so that's a horrific story on the front of the Star. But then there's another horrific story going on to the story about this woman who pretended to be Madeleine McCann. And Madeleine McCann's sister, Emile, has gone got up in court and talked about this stalker who claimed to be her missing sister. I mean, I was talking yesterday about how fucked up this is for the parents of Madeleine McCann. I mean, this is the sister. I mean, even if you are like one of those people who are like, oh, fuck the parents, they deserve everything they get, right? She's done absolutely nothing wrong. She lost her sister. And this monster is saying, oh, I'm actually, who's obsessed with them, is pretending to be her sister. Just fucking disgusting on every level. There's jail parents to appeal as doubt cast on shaken baby expert, another difficult case. And yeah, Nicole says sex is taboo. Is it really? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Nicole Kidman is right, and I'll tell you why she's right. Because on the TV show 24 with Kiefer Sutherland, you would have an episode where he would torture someone. He would decapitate someone, put their head in a bag, and deliver it onto someone's desk. That happened in an episode of 24. It was horrifically violent. Bombs going off, people getting maimed and murdered and scarred and all kinds of horrible shit, right? But you couldn't say shit You definitely couldn't talk about sex. You definitely couldn't have sex because it was network TV in America, not HBO, where you're allowed a bit of, TNA. No, you're not having that. It's American television. No sex, please. We're Yanks. So yeah, sex is still fucking taboo amongst most people, which is crazy. I mean, in this day and age, but it's a very strange thing. And I have this with my American friends that, we're making jokes about masturbation, obviously, because that's what we do most of the time in the UK. And they're like mortified. They're like, I can't believe you're talking about this. And I'm like, it's funny. Because their culture is so sex is taboo. Sex, we can't talk about it. Can't talk about it. No, just pretend it doesn't happen. Except when it comes to right-wing Republicans, conservatives, fascists, if you will, who want to go into people's bedrooms while they're at it and go, you're doing it wrong. No, not like that. Not like that. I mean, what the fuck? But that's the weird thing. It's taboo, but people are absolutely obsessed with it. Like, so the church I went to as a kid was called St. Mary the Virgin, right? Because there was a big thing put on the fact that she hadn't fucked anyone. Okay, I'm not saying we're obsessed with sex, but that is a weird name to give to a fucking church. What was the defining characteristic of this woman? Oh, it was that she was a virgin. Oh, did Jesus not have any brothers or sisters? Yes, he had quite a few, actually. Okay, so she wasn't a virgin when she died. Yes, but she was a virgin when she gave birth. Okay. If you say so. All right. Joseph was very understanding, I've got to say. Anyway, so Trump celebrates art of the everlasting peace deal here. Everlasting peace. Good luck with that. Kate picks up pen to warn dangers of screen time. Princess of Wales has warned the dangers of screen time for children. Good on her. Good on her. I'm sure she could take her kids out for a walk in their private grounds of their private fucking manor estate. Can you take the kids out for a walk after dark? Because you get the kids getting out now, and it's getting dark pretty early, isn't it? Next month they're going to be getting out. It's a school in the dark, and you got to go for a walk, are you? Around the local park, are you, with the kids in the dark? Are you? Okay. Put the screens away. We've got games to play. Let's get some board games out. Okay, yeah, you can play board games. I'll let you do that. But yeah, it's a bit rich. I mean, I agree with her. We need less screen time, he says, sitting in front of 3 different screens. But yeah, I'm just, I don't know why we think that because this is the woman who goes out with the future king that she has wisdom to impart. But then again, I like it when Meghan Markle imparts wisdom because it drives the gammons up the fucking wall. But yeah. Let's get back to this. Everlasting peace. Everlasting. Does anyone think it's going to be everlasting? Everlasting peace. I'm old enough to remember in the 90s when we thought we were going to get peace in the Middle East. I'm old enough to remember, I've forgotten what chat show host it was, but it was a late night chat show in America, and it was like Conan O'Brien or someone like that. I can't remember who it was, but I specifically remember him doing his first show, and he came out on stage and he said, when I was younger, people said, "Oh, the day you get your own show on late night TV is the day that peace is declared in the Middle East," and everyone cheered and applauded because peace had been declared in the Middle East. That was 30 years ago. How's that going, eh? Everlasting. Didn't the Manics do a song called Everlasting? I think they did. It was on her. This is my truth. Show me yours. Hey, show me mine, show me yours by the Manic Street Preachers. Good album. Maddie's sister, Stalker, left me feel scared. I'm not surprised. What a horrible thing to put someone through. And then Kate there doing an impression of a howler monkey for some reason. She looks a bit like Jonathan Gullis in that picture. That's not a great picture of Kate. I mean, she is an attractive woman. You don't need to make her look like that, but whatever. Anyway, she's got fears. Gaza peace deal here. Gaza and Tel Aviv. With the same child on the shoulders of 2 different men. It's almost as though there's not much difference between these human beings. It's just prejudice and religion and years and years of built up hatred of the other, even though those two kids, if someone said those two kids were brothers, would you argue? Would you go, not brothers? Look at them. Look at those kids. One's Palestinian, the other one's Israeli. Check that one out. Okay, moment of shared hope. Well, I do. I know I'm being a little bit cynical about the everlasting peace. I am glad that there is a ceasefire. I'm glad. Although, Israel voted, the Israeli parliament voted, the Knesset voted yesterday to the Trump peace plan. And last night, they kept bombing shit in Gaza. So, like I say, good luck, everyone. He says, blows the whistle. Everyone runs over the top into the battlefield. And then the next one we've got is, my friends are horrified I breastfed my grandchildren, but I don't regret it one bit. Well, I mean, we've had wet nurses for fucking centuries. I don't really have a problem with another woman breastfeeding a baby other than the mother. We're a bit funny about breastfeeding in this country. I think there's a few things in this country that we're a bit fucking troppo bananas about. One of which is breastfeeding. Like, you can't do it in public, but you should. Okay, what? And then you've got the breastfeeding fucking ultras who are like, no, you can't give your child formula. Some women find it hard to breastfeed. It doesn't work for them. It doesn't It's no biggie. It's fine, okay? Women find what works for them. Let them find that and let them do that thing without giving them some kind of stigma for not doing it right. Fuck off. But the other thing is dogs. Dangerous dogs. We're fucking mad for dangerous dogs in this country. Just fucking love them. We're just like, oh, the more dangerous, the better. I think some people, they just love the idea that there's an animal in their house, like a wild animal, a fucking lion. You're the kind of people who will keep lions and tigers and bears, and in the house if they could. And it's like the idea that this thing could kill them at any moment, but doesn't. It's a weird psychological thing, but there you go. We are as daffy about dangerous dogs in this country as the Americans are about guns. And I've spoken to a lot of owners of dangerous dogs, and they fucking love their dogs, and they love their dogs more than they, I don't know, love the children in the park who might get mauled by that dog in days to come. But I'm sure there's going to be someone in the chat who's going to go, fuck off, Graham! Breed-specific legislation is wrong and it doesn't work. Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't work because so many people get away with it. I think they should bring back dog licenses. Does anyone argue against that? Let's bring back dog licenses. You know what? Not just so people can't breed fucking fucked up versions of these dogs that are capable of tearing a human apart, but also for the safety of the dogs. You've got people who are absolutely fucking horrific who have animals and they treat the animals like shit. They beat them. If you injure a cat, the cat won't come back, generally speaking. I don't know, the cat will fuck off, do you know what I mean? Go and find another owner. There's probably 3 people in your street who all think they own the same cat. They just spend 8 hours a day in each different person's house. But dogs are very loyal. They are beautifully loyal, but loyal to a fault. Like, you can hit a dog and they will still be your friend. Which psychopaths take advantage of. So yeah, I want dog licenses. You can't have a fucking dog, and you certainly can't breed dogs. Any number of dogs, okay? I'm not talking about like, you can have like 5 and then you have to get a license. No. You just can't breed them unless you have a special breeding license, which costs even more money. And we keep an eye on you to make sure that you're not fucking around breeding a parent with the offspring to produce a pure breed of like limited DNA. That's not a good way of putting it, is it? Limited DNA, but isn't it like some of those pure breed dogs that they've produced over the years? It's just so fucked up. Like the what's it called? The variation in DNA is really, really small. I don't know if that's the correct term for it, but you've got King Charles Spaniels whose brains are too big for their skulls. And so they live with these horrific migraine headaches, the likes of which, the pain of which I couldn't even begin to imagine. Rhodesian Ridgebacks have basically got scoliosis. And what some breeders do, some unscrupulous breeders, is they kill the puppies that don't have the Ridgeback. They just kill them. They drown them in the fucking canal, And bulldogs who can't breathe because their noses are so squished up. And if you get a Crufts Breeders Annual Guide, whatever the fuck it was called, from like the 1800s, And have a look at the diagrams of the dogs in there. A bulldog in the 1800s did not look like a bulldog today. Let me tell you. Yeah, we've fucked it. We have totally fucked it. And it's one of the reasons why Crufts has been encouraged to look at the health of dogs, not just how they fucking look. Because a lot of these pure breed dogs don't last very long. They last a few years and those few years are lived in absolute fucking pain and misery because humans have been doing genetic experimentation on them. If you're going to complain about GM crops and golden fucking rice, well, dogs. Sorry, that's what we did to the Asiatic grey wolf. We did that to them. We made chihuahuas out of them. That's some fucked up meddling with powers you cannot possibly comprehend. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm probably not making any friends saying all this, but it's the way I feel. Daylight Dave has been a member for 7 months. Yes, welcome, Dave. You are awesome. Problem is that Gaza is completely destroyed. Yeah, it's going to cost tens of billions, if not hundreds of billions of dollars to fix the fucking place. Like, it is pretty fucked. Reverend Caffey, anyone notice this deal hands 53% of Gaza to Israel? Yeah. Well, that's the line. That's the line that they're going back to. And then they're going to go back some more, apparently, whether they do or not. Yeah, Reverend Caffey, I'm with you on that one. Smartphones are this generation's rock music. The parents are convinced harm is being done, similar to the parents of teens in the 1950s. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong, Paula. In fact, I think you're right. But the irony here is that parents have smartphones as well. There's a lot of people who are like, a few years ago, like, everyone's looking at their phones. Why are we having a conversation? And then they come out now and they're like, my mom had a German Shepherd and a St. Bernard specifically to help her feel safe after leaving an abusive relationship. Yeah, that's fair enough. Dogs are man's best friend. They are loyal and protected to human pack. It's about time we clamp down on the breeders. Yeah. I think a dog license will have to go hand in hand with chipping, says Freckle Puny. Yeah, bring it back. When I was a kid, we had a dog license. Wasn't that crazy? You had to have a license to drive in a car. There's no license to have a dog. You have to have a license to, license to have a TV. And in America, you just got a gun. You didn't need anything. You just turned up. I'll have a gun, please. I'll have a machine that kills people. I want it in my house. I want it in a box under my bed so the kids find it one day. That'll be fun. We had enormous Doberman, says Martin. Stupidest dog I ever met. Only showed aggressive to joggers towards you. Only just upset some joggers. That's fine. Ruin their day. I think Graham is right about dogs. Yes, I got one person who thinks I'm right about dogs. Yeah, I'm not saying we shouldn't have dogs. I've got a dog on the island, Pickle, who's lovely, and before lovely Pickle, I had Campesino, who was just the greatest dog ever. Just put up a statue to my dog, like Greyfire's Bobby. I do think that the situation is really out of hand at the moment, especially with unscrupulous breeders and the difficulties in breed-specific legislation where we say, we're going to get rid of XL bullies. And it's like, okay, well, what's an XL bully? And then you've got vets running around with calipers trying to work out the exact measurements of noses and eyeballs and ears and stuff to decide whether it is an actual XL bully or isn't. And I've got to say, just to step back for a moment. I know I'm kind of make fun of the fact that we made chihuahuas out of grey wolves, but it is remarkable the adaptability of the DNA of dogs. Imagine if dogs were humans. Imagine if you had that much of a variety of human. Imagine we had humans who are literally 1 foot tall. That's the equivalent of a Doberman versus a Chihuahua or a Shih Tzu or something. Like one of those little handbag dogs that you get. Imagine the variation in the facial structure, in the body structure of all these different dogs. Imagine if that was all different humans, right? And it isn't. Humans all pretty much look the fucking same, they're pretty standard issue human. And we just make up differences in things like melanin, but then ignore other differences, which I think are more startling, like hair color. Being a ginge. Well, what's left of it? Going grey, my friend. Well, I'm going white. Ginger people don't go grey. They go white. So Santa Claus, good chance Santa Claus was a ging. Trivia knows. Chris Amu of the pop group Real Thing was once the owner of the Best in Show at Crufts, which is one of the very few good things I can say about Crufts. That's very interesting. That's like the guys from Spinal Tap. They made Best in Show, didn't they? Which is about dog shows. Without dog lovers, I would be out of business. Have you tried putting bandana on a cat? Says Chris. No, I'm not having a go at dog lovers. I'm not having a go at dogs per se. I'm saying that the situation at the moment is unregulated and people get a bit daffy about their dogs. They do. They get a bit sort of in the same way that Americans get about their guns. They feel like it's a personal affront if you say, hey, maybe these things should be like, I don't know, regulated or, reined in some way. And so that dozens of children every year are brutally maimed or even killed by these things. Just saying. Read breastfeeding. My wife tried breastfeeding, but on both our kids, but it didn't work. And she expressed, but she stopped producing after a few weeks. So they were fed by formula. Life isn't black and white. Yeah, Lee, completely agree. Completely agree with you, mate. Like, you got to find out what works for you. But the breastfeeding zealots are infuriating, because they make women feel bad. This is at a time that they're postnatal, postpartum, and there is they've lost a lot of the women have lost a lot of their minerals, and obviously they've gone through a lot of trauma, giving birth one way or another, and just the idea that there's one way of doing it. There's one way of doing it. No, it's fine. If you try and you can't, it's fine. Use formula. Or even if you don't want to, just use fucking formula. It's gonna make no fucking difference. But we do this to women, and we do this like the idea of not taking pain medication during childbirth is a patriarchal idea. It's like women have to suffer. Fuck, like, do men go to the fucking dentist and like, no, I don't want any anesthetic, mate. No, it's fine. You just rip the tooth straight out. That'll be great. The more pain, the better. The more pain, the better for me. It's bullshit. It's absolute patriarchal fucking bullshit. That women should have to go through so much pain during childbirth, and they're made to feel bad if they have an epidural. They're made to feel bad if they take pain relief. And like, why? Why? Yeah. Shitting out a fucking watermelon at your snatch. I mean, Jesus Christ. Take the fucking pain relief. Well, you don't have to. It's your choice. But there shouldn't be a thing of like, oh, well, if you take the pain relief, the baby might come out a bit floppy. Fucking who cares? It's just, it'll be fine. Women take pain relief. Millions of women take pain relief every year when they give birth, and the babies are fine. It's okay. It's all right. But they might not be a Nobel Prize winning physicist if I have pain relief. Yeah, right, love. Yeah, okay. If you say so. So that was quite patronising of me to say love, but that people are taken in by this, unfortunately, because the patriarchy wants women to suffer. So many ways. Don't forget, periods are patriarchy. I'm not going to deviate on my position on this. In the natural world, when humans were running around through the, but this is pre-caveman time. This is before we were living in caves. This is where we were running around the plains of Africa, hunting and gathering. And women would be pregnant a lot of the time. And when they weren't pregnant, they were breastfeeding, and therefore they were not having periods. And so a normal woman in her normal life, living to the age of maybe 40 or 50, would possibly only have a handful of periods in her entire life. But when they came out with the pill, the contraceptive pill in the 1960s, to placate the Catholic Church, some gruesome old virgins in a faraway country, the Vatican, right? The American scientists behind the pill said, okay, well, we'll have a week where you don't actually take the pill. You either stop taking it or you take a sugar substitute. You take a placebo for a week. So you can have your period. So you can go through all the hormonal stress that you wouldn't necessarily have to go through if you were running through the plains back in the day. You wouldn't be having periods so much because the women didn't. So the idea of forcing women to go through that, and don't forget, when we talk about like the pill, obviously it has side effects, but one of the side effects is an elevated chance of certain cancers. But one of the factors in that is the fact that you still have your period even though you're on your pill. And when you have your period, your boobs get bigger, your cells divide, and whenever you have a lot of cell division going on, there's a chance that one of those cells will fuck up in its division and you got cancer. So yeah, the more periods you have, the more chances you have of having cancer. Cervical cancer, breast cancer, all the types of cancer. Periods of patriarchy. I'm going to put that on a sign and then say, prove me wrong. But, you know, if I think the option is there to get an Explanon or a Nexplanon, sorry, or an Implanon implant, which basically stops you having periods. Totally. And you just don't have them, but they're looked down on by the patriarchy. You think it's women saying, oh, no, you shouldn't do that, but it's not. It's the patriarchy going, no, it's not natural. It's not natural. All right, mate. Okay. You enjoying your time in that jet plane that you're fucking flying in? You know, being on the internet on your smartphone. Yeah. Go on, talk to me about nature, mate. Go on, dickhead. Well, it's just not natural, he writes on a fucking smartphone. What, that grow on a fucking tree? Natural. Anyway, just remember, Graham, where there is a poor doggy, there is a private vet wringing their hands with glee at the profit margin. Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, I think also with, that's a good point, actually, about vets. With licensing dogs, insurance should be a part of that, just like when we have cars. Because so many animals suffer because people can't afford the vet bills. And so that dog is suffering. So that's wrong. So we should have compulsory pet insurance. If you're going to have a pet, you need insurance. So that if that pet is in pain, you can take them to the vet and that pain can be, alleviated or whatever needs to be done. So yeah, bring it in. Bring back dog licenses. That's my hill. I'm prepared to die on it. As a dog lover myself. Freckle Puny, I think there ought to be Farage, Anderson, Widdicombe, Tice, and Oakshot licenses. Yes, Oak shit. There should be. Just remember, Graham, I've read that one. I grew up around dogs, says One Angry Pagan. I spent the majority of my life around dogs, rats, cats, guinea pigs, avalid dinosaurs, snakes, and lizards. You can't really see Steve Irwin's implements on me, can you? No. They're already here, primates. Yeah. Read breastfeeding. I've read that. F1 driver, Michael, Hunch, bread, budgies. Budgies. That's so random. I love it. Graham, you see the variation of marsupials throughout their evolutionary history. Yeah, that's right. Cool. I love convergent evolution. This is why I think aliens might look a bit like us. I've decided. I always thought it was daft when I was a kid growing up watching Star Trek or Babylon 5 or whatever, and all the aliens usually kind of looked a bit human. But then we've got convergent evolution where the marsupial mole looks a lot like a mammal mole, even though we are closer in evolutionary lineage to the mammal mole than they are to the marsupial mole. Yeah. Thankfully, all my dogs don't mind the vets. However, my old German Shepherd would have backed into a corner and be held down by several vet nurses as the vet trimmed their nails. Oof. The original pill was intended for both women and men. They found that men's testicles shrank, so they stopped testing on men because we can't have that. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, if I could have an injection in my arm as contraception, I'd just do it. I'd just fucking do it. You know, that'll do me. Richard Ardoman used to crawl under the chair at the vet, shaking and shedding hair, but he had been castrated before we got him. Yeah. Well, there you go. It's got a fucking traumatic memory associated with it. Friend's black pom doesn't do strangers. Has to be sedated for vet visit. Poor thing was spangled, wobbling down the road. Oh, God, Richard. Yeah, exactly. They make women feel bad for not doing it, and then they criticize it when they do it in public. Yes, Martin. Yes. I was trying to get to a bit of a radical feminist channel here. But yes, I agree that, we even have to suffer through menopause. Medicine should be free, and we start to pay for it. Not even talked about, says Rosa T. Yeah, and menopause is, it's an unpleasant experience for women to go through, and yet we have the now. It was Kemi Badenoch who said. Was it Kemi Badenoch who said this? Was it her? She was in a select committee a couple of years ago. It was when the Tories were still in power. And she was asked about, special dispensation being given to certain groups, i.e. women who were going through menopause. So dispensation given at work, extra sick time off and things like that. And she actually compared women going through the menopause with people with red hair as like a group that was different or something. I'm like, what the fuck? What the absolute clanging fuck is this woman on about? Was it Kemi Badenoch? Can someone go and check that for me? Someone go and check that for me. Report back. Full report. Was that Kemi Badenoch? She compared women going through the menopause with people with red hair. Like, what? You know, I find lights a bit brighter. I don't need time off work for being ginger. I think if your hair's falling out and your guts feel like they're on fire and you've got a massive head-breaking fucking migraine headache or whatever you're going through, I think you deserve some fucking time off work. Jesus Christ. Then came movies like Alien and The Thing. Alien's very much about male pregnancy, isn't it? The fear of male pregnancy. Which is that. I had the snip a few years ago. It was surprisingly a lot simpler than when I was circumcised in my mid-50s. Yeah, Colin, I think you know, having the snip and it's reversible, isn't it? So I suppose that's what I could do. I think I'll prefer to just have an injection though. Victoria T. I grew up on a farm and had dogs. And not have a pet now due to insurance costs. Says Victoria T. Yeah. The thing is, if the more people who have to get the insurance premium should come down. Should. I don't think they would, but you know, if there was some kind of government scheme, I think that would really be good. Because, you know, I'm not saying that it should be a human right to have a pet, but God, animals save so many people's lives. Oh, they you know, when people have an emotional support animal, I think that's great, you know. But I also think, aren't all animals emotional support animals? Do you know what I mean? You come in after a shit fucking day and you sit down on the couch and your cat jumps on your lap and it's like, oh. Or your dog's happy to see you come home after a day at work. Oh. Or your guinea pig starts running around in a little wheel. Dead excited. Oh, that's more hamsters than guinea pigs. I think guinea pigs are lazy bastards. God, they're cute though. Don't diss Kemi. Her Britian bar is doing well in the bin. There you go. Yes, indeedy. Rats make better companions than most folks seem to realise. Yeah, I don't think you're going to win too many converts over on that particular one. But yeah, rats are quite interesting in the way that they can't vomit. Rats, so they are what they call neophobic. I think that's the word for it. So what they do, because they can't vomit, if they see something that's new, they'll only eat a little tiny bit of it. And if they don't get ill or don't feel sick or whatever, they'll go back and eat some more of whatever that stuff is. Makes it very difficult to poison them. Just saying. Not that Bonangi Pagan's going to get upset now. I'm talking about poisoning pigeons in the park, poisoning rats. I want my external ovaries removed and replaced with steel ones, balls of steel, says Al. That would be awesome. Greta for the Peace Prize. I'd love that. I would fucking love. I don't think she'll get it, but like, imagine that. Imagine Greta Thunberg gets it instead of Trump. Oh, the tantrum he would throw. But essentially, just to go back to this as the story, like, you know, he's saying to the Nobel Committee, or the Nobel Peace Prize Committee in Norway, give me the Peace Prize or I will declare war. Do you not see the irony in there? Do you not see the fucking... Give me the Peace Prize or else! Give me the prize for being the most chill motherfucker in the room or I will kill you all! Here we have, look. Blessed is the peacemaker. Okay. And utterly pointless, the virtue-signalling liberals like Starmer and Macron. Virtue signaling. We're about to enter virtue signaling season because it's nearly poppy rage season or war Christmas season. And we're going to have a lot of poppies everywhere. I'm pretty sure that poppies will be put on every fucking lamppost in the world with flags that say "Lest we forget" about something that people have forgotten about because the way that they conduct their lives is not really what the troops who gave their lives would really have wanted, I don't think. Supporting the fascists. Just saying that might not be what, the people who fought the fascists, let's call them the anti-fascists, the forces that stormed the beaches of Normandy on the 6th of June, 1944. Let's call them Antifa, just to make it a little short. Antifa, let's call them Antifa, just to shorten that down. The Antifa forces that marched all the way into Berlin from the west and from the east. And, made sure Hitler was very dead. I'm very sure that they will be very excited about the fact that there's people putting up flags for remembering them. But yeah, poppy rage season is about to start. And I can't think of a more obvious form of virtue signalling than wearing a poppy to remember people that you'd never met from 100 odd years ago who died in trenches fighting a war for when fucking Queen Victoria's grandchildren were all fucking fighting against each other for some reason. Daily Telegraph here. We're going to have an advert for KLM first. How Royal Ballet raised the bar for fashion. See, they've made a pun. And then we should celebrate Beckham's honesty. Okay, I'll go with that. And then we've got We Have Peace in the Middle East. Screen cap that. Let's see what happens. Release a dossier into Chinese spying blocked by Treasury. Fair enough. God, if that had been the Tories doing it, do you think anyone would be talking about it? I mean, is anyone talking about the fact that this guy, Nathan Gill, the leader of the REFUC in Wales, former leader of REFUC in Wales, paid by the Russians to stand up in the EU Parliament, in the European Parliament, and actually spout out pre-scripted lines in support of Russia against Ukraine? True story. NHS in state of emergency to doctors as waiting list soar. This is, again, not a great news story for the government, although waiting lists are lower than they were under the Tories. They are still going back up again because of the sheer number of people who are ill at the moment. A lot of people are ill because of society. Society's making them ill. Our everyday life is making people ill. It's making people more stressed out. It's making people more upset. It's making people less happy. People who are happy, generally less ill. Generally, I know that's a bit of a sweeping statement. But we were talking yesterday on our little chat group about the fact that when people are being prayed for, they have worse outcomes of their health. Because they think, fuck, I'm being prayed for! Must be bad. Keep that positive mental attitude, my friends. It'll keep you alive. For now. Anyway, prostate patients miss out on vital treatment. Kate, ban mobiles at family meals. That's something that we do. Okay, we do that. Yeah, no mobiles at the table. True story. Although it's really weird for me because, I'm from an ADHD family. Everyone's fucking talking over each other. No one lets each other finish a single thing that one of us is trying to say. It's an ADHD thing, and our family meals were absolutely raucous. It was like that episode of The Bear at Christmas. That was normal for me. I'm watching that with Kat, and she's horrified that a family could be like this, like fucking crazy at each other. And I'm like, yeah, that was pretty much my family growing up. Whereas Kat and her kids are quite quiet. So it's like a bit sort of strained conversation. I don't think that people who are quiet people by nature quite understand how much torture it is for an ADHD person, especially if you're in a car. If you're driving in a car, and I still remember a particular journey I once took in Australia with 3 friends of mine, all of whom were quite quiet people. And I was driving for hours and it was just silence in the car. And for me, and now I know why, it's because I got ADHD at the time. I just thought I was a dick. Well, I am a dick, but they didn't talk. No one talked for hours and hours. And I was just driving like this, trying to make conversation and it just going nowhere. Anyway, need to fill the air with chatter. So in an ADHD family, I don't think there will be time to get your phone out at the table because it would just be everyone would be trying to jump in on each other and talking. It's funny, like when we did the 3 Blokes in the Pub and people would complain about us, interrupting each other's points. And I really do have to make an effort. And I filmed an episode of the Sunday Roast last night with Alex and a couple of guys from Turn Left Media. and that's going to go out on Sunday. And you could probably see me, and I actually mute my mic when someone else is talking to stop me from jumping in and interrupting what they've got to say. I really strain to do it, but since I've had my ADHD diagnosis, I'm a little bit more aware of the fact that I do that, and just trying to just get to the point where, because I find it annoying as well, to be honest, especially if you set something up for a punchline and then someone interrupts you while you're trying to do your punchline. Yeah, Wayne, if you're watching, just let me get me punchline out and then you can talk. It's fine. But there you go. Giving Trump the Nobel Peace Prize would be taking the peace. So big L like that. Victoria's relatives all fighting in World War One. It was a sacrifice they were prepared to make for like King Joffrey. For a guy who wants a peace prize, Trump sure gave a lot of weapons to one side in that war. I'm assuming they're going to give a gardening prize to Fred West too. He puts down a wonderful patio. And give Trump a bag of bird's eye petit pois and call it the Peace Prize. That'll keep the idiot happy. Yeah, Trump hasn't got the Peace Prize. Yes, has that just been announced now? Has it? That's live. Been announced. The winner of the Peace Prize is going to be announced at just after 10 o'clock. So yeah, announcement coming soon. Oh, I guess I'd need to watch it live. So there you go. Peace Prize announced, and it is. I'm watching the dots jump. María Corina Machado. María Corina Machado wins the Nobel Peace Prize. She's from Venezuela, and she's won it. So there you go. And your face, Trump. So yeah, I just I hope he cries. She's an industrial engineer and former deputy of the National Assembly of Venezuela. She's a politician. She's currently the opposition leader of Venezuela, so she's standing up against Maduro and the shadow of the ghostly shadow of Chavez. She's in 2018 she was listed as one of BBC's top 100 women, and 2025 Time magazine listed as one of the world's 100 most influential people. In the presidential crisis in 2019, she announced she would launch a second presidential run if disputed interim president Juan Guaido successfully called an election. Guaido was ultimately unsuccessful in his efforts. So there you go. She was born in Caracas in Venezuela. So there you go. She's won the Nobel Peace Prize for her protest and activism against the let's just call it what it is, the junta of Maduro in Venezuela. So that's good. Yay! Norway is going to feel the wrath of the orange turd toddler. Yeah, and I think we should all help out Norway, in this. That's genuinely hilarious. Lol. That'll stick in Trump's craw no end. I saw a story yesterday. It was the Tories at the Tory party conference whinging, because that's what Tories do, a field of no one, a room of no one. It wasn't big enough. A small broom cupboard of no one at their conference. And they were talking about the fact that that Labour hates oil. They hate oil, and their ideology is driving them to not reinstate the oil refinery near Grimsby. Right, so Grimsby oil refinery. God, because you make Grimsby sound even worse. Yeah, we'll put an oil refinery up the river. All right, brilliant, good job. Anyway, so this oil refinery has been closed for quite a few months this year, and there's been a few different parties who are interested in buying it. But one of the parties who wants to buy it doesn't want to restart it as a refinery because they don't see any money in it. They want to restart it as a storage, oil storage depot, or petrol storage, or diesel, or whatever the fuck they're putting. And so this could lead to the loss of, say, there's 800 people work there, lead to the loss of 200 jobs, right? At the same time, right, the Tories are whinging about that because of Trump's war on wind power. The biggest wind turbine company in the world is called Ørsted or something. It's a Danish company. They are going to be shedding loads of jobs because they're ramping down production. Yeah. Is ramping the right word? Reducing. They're reducing production because of the downturn in demand caused by Trump's war on wind power. And that's going to result in the job losses of hundreds of British people who work for that Danish company in this country. It's headquartered in Oslo, actually, so that's another thing that Trump is going to be attacking Norway for. But, no word of the Tories about that. No word of the ideological nonsense that's coming out of Trump's disgusting anus of a face. Puckered anus, prolapsed anus of a face, of a mouth that he has. Whatever bullshit just streams out of it from one day to the next. He's going about the wind turbines. They kill the birds. You know what kills fucking birds, dickheads? Cats. Do you know what also kills birds? Fucking tall glass buildings. What do you build, Trump? Tall glass buildings with your twatty name on it. Which means fart in our language. Chris C, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. So the Gaza ceasefire will end in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. That's generally hilarious. A lot. Stick it to Trump. Stick in Trump's crow. Trump finds out he's not won a prize. Pop goes his ego, says Captain Coconut. I'm just singing that because that's how I think. Vendetta says she's the owner of a vagina, so he'll cry about that. Yeah, he probably will. Misogynistic piece of shit. Blue Badger just got in. How are we all doing? It would be funny if they gave the Nobel Prize to Taylor Swift for creating common ground between cultures. Lol. What in the dislike of her new album? I was watching what's his name? David Wong. What's his name? Thingy Pargan. I forgot. Jason Pargan on TikTok this morning, and he was talking about talking about the new album by Tay-Tay, and just saying, it's a very formative experience when your favorite artist or band makes a shit album, and you listen to it, you're like, yeah, this is great, and then you listen to it again, you're like, oh, okay, and then you find yourself skipping songs, and then people sort of backlash against it, and you don't have to like everything that someone does. I mean, I'm sure not everyone likes everything I say on this show, and that's perfectly normal and natural and human, and I would be a bit concerned if any of you were like, yes, Graham, you're absolutely right about everything. I'd be like, no, don't say that. I don't want to be right about everything, because I fuck things up all the time. Yeah, don't hold me to it. But yeah, this idea that you have the formative experience of, and he gave an example of a Pearl Jam album that was a bit shit, and then at the end he just said, and at least Taylor Swift fans have got to experience the feeling, the joy, the disappointment, the heartbreak of your favorite artist making a bit of a bum album, because for some artists, some bands never made it that far, and he shows a picture of In Utero by Nirvana, saying like they never got to make a bad album. Very true, which is a lot more tragic than your favourite artist making a bit of a bum. Putting on a bit of a bum nose. Listen, if you got the choice between Sabrina Carpenter's new album and Tay-Tay's new album, Sabrina Carpenter's all the way. It's funny as fuck. Honestly, it's laugh out loud funny. There is a song about splitting up with someone and wishing them all the best, but also wishing they get agoraphobia. But the word agoraphobia is in the song. Kudos for putting the word agoraphobia in a song. It's quite a clunky word to try and fit into a lyric. I hope you get agoraphobia and you never go out and you watch everyone else in the window and you never have sex again. That's it. I wish you all the best, but I also wish you a lifetime of never getting laid. And you like listen to that going, ooh, hard relate. I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. I'm just saying, I hope you never leave the house and never meet anyone that you're actually happy with. You bastard, you broke my heart. Anyway, yeah, funny. It made me laugh anyway. Man-child, funny song, made me laugh. I loved Creedence Clearwater Revival, but I still bear the scars of Mardi Gras. And yes, how can I forget Stevie Wonder's Secret Life of Plants? Well, wasn't there was a Marvin Gaye album, wasn't there, that was all about his divorce, and it was just fucking awful. It was just absolutely shite. Didn't the Rolling Stones do an album called Cocksucker Blues or something? Or was that one of their songs? Like, because they had to contractually obliged to do an album, so they just put out some absolute garbage just to get out of their record contract. It happens. It happens. Saw John Fogerty at Glastonbury. It was brilliant. Pearl Jam is still going, almost 40 years. Yeah. Fucking hell, that makes me feel old, mate. Thanks. The Daily Mail headline about the Nobel Peace Prize is funny. Donald Trump is snubbed by Nobel Peace Prize judges. US president's achievements are ignored. What achievements? He hadn't achieved anything. You could argue that maybe he's achieved something in the Middle East, but that was after they decided who was getting it. It was never going to be Trump. It was never going to be Trump. Lee says, ADHD family, my dad could never let the room go quiet. He had to fill the gaps with anything, often repeating himself. The only time he was quiet was when he was hyper-focused reading the paper. Oh, Lee. Yeah, same. How many land-based wind turbines in Labour's first year? I don't know. It's something they should be doing. I mean, they removed the effective moratorium on land-based wind turbines on the first day that they took office last year. So, Texas Paul has nominated the Portland Frog for the Peace Prize. Jim Bob Robot says, "Oops, not King Joffrey, King Harold in Shrek." It wasn't King Harold in Shrek. It was. He's not called King Harold, is he? He's what is his name? The baddie in the original Shrek movie. He was prepared to bear the sacrifice of his soldiers, like the warring relatives of Victoria in Europe. What's his name? It's like a piss take, isn't it, of the current of at that time the current CEO of Disney. It wasn't. What's the name of the baddie in fucking Shrek? Oh, this is annoying me now. Shrek, Fiona, Donkey. He's not Lord Farquaad. I was going to say he's not even a king. Yes, thank you, Lee. Lord Farquaad, brilliant. What a fucking character. I love his fucking suit of armor, and then he's just like really short. It's like, I rewatched Shrek recently with the kids because they hadn't seen. I was a bit surprised that they hadn't seen it. They'd seen like Puss in Boots and stuff. They hadn't seen Shrek, the original, and I kind of forgot how funny it was. It is a very funny film. I mean, the animation's a bit shonky now, but like honestly, yeah, hats off. Funny film, funny fucked up film in which a donkey falls in love with a dragon, and they have like fucked up kind of half dragon, half donkey babies. Like, how does that work? She's a reptile. He's a donkey. And okay, there you go. I had a teacher with that Farquaad. It's just a great sound, isn't it? Because it sounds like something it sounds like a sound that a posh person would make. Farquaad. Yeah, great name for a character. Based on the then CEO of Disney, I think. There's a lot of digs at Disney in Shrek because the whole thing's a theme park, isn't it? Of all these like Disney-esque characters from various fairy tales throughout the years. I love the bit where the castle and they got cube barriers like Disneyland. Yeah. So it was because it was DreamWorks, wasn't it? It was DreamWorks SKG, which is Spielberg. What was the name? Geffen, the record label guy, and Katzenberg was it? The other guy who set it up. The first new movie studio since United Artists was founded by Charlie Chaplin and friends back in like the 1930s. Unfortunately, it seems like DreamWorks has kind of, the wheels have fallen off. They've sold off the animation arm, and that was the only thing that really made a profit. And the first movie I think came out with was The Peacemaker with George Clooney, which didn't do that well. And I think they've shut up shop. I'll have to look this up, but I haven't seen the DreamWorks logo come up before a film for a very long time. The dancing puppets in the box are brilliant when they sing. Yeah. I find myself watching The Big Bang Theory past 2 nights. Wow, that show tickled me sense of humour. Says One Angry Pagan. Vendetta, if only they could rerun the source files through Renderman again, re-release with better graphics. I suppose they could. No, Chris was trying to get Graham to get to the answer. Read the comments. Yeah, Yeah, I read it. Sorry, there's a 30-second delay, so you might have said something, I might not have seen it. Should we go back to the fucking papers? Right, come on. We'll get through these eventually. It's 10:15. Jeez, I've got to get on with the day. Spain faces new threat of net zero blackouts. This is from the fucking the tele. It's not net zero blackouts. It's blackouts because they need to rejig their grid, the electric grid, because people's habits are changing. More people are using electric cars. It's really not that much to do with the fact that it's wind turbines and solar power that's making so much power for Spain. It's the distribution and the storage of that power that they need to get the grid up to scratch. But yeah, obviously there is a huge push now. 10 years ago, the climate change was a done deal. Even the Conservatives were saying we need to push for net zero. And now the money that's coming from the oil companies and from Russia and from Qatar and from Saudi Arabia and Libya and Angola and Nigeria and these places that produce all this oil, but maybe not the countries themselves, maybe the people who just own the oil in those countries, or maybe the Western companies that own the oil or steal the oil from these countries. I've got so much money, they can pay these newspapers to print whatever the fuck they want, and what they want to print is net zero is a problem. And then just above me here, Starmer's late pub plan, a waste of time. Landlords have called Keir Starmer's plan to allow pubs to stay open a waste of time. Have they? Okay, whatever. Right, visit Ling's, I don't want a car. Tuck in, first GM fruit and veg you will eat. That doesn't look very appetizing, that one at the end, does it? No. England's job done after 20 minutes. England played a football match last night and presumably won. Ceasefire deal for Gaza, Israel to withdraw troops and hostage set for release. Fingers crossed, although, the fact that Trump didn't win the Peace Prize might throw a fly in the ointment. Peace is within reach at last. Dramatic breakthrough in the Middle East, which I think is more to do with the fact that, as I said, we did a whole show about this yesterday, but I think it's more to do with the negotiations that have gone behind the scenes, and also because a year ago when Biden was still in charge, Israel just had no intention of stopping what they were doing, and that's changed now, just from time. Like fencing with an old friend, Tilda Swinton and Colin Farrell on their new film, which I enjoyed. Right, it's called Ballad of a Small Player. I think there's a lot of people out there who didn't like it. But as as immersive cinema, I thought that it's rendered the worlds of Macau and Hong Kong, where it's set, very well. And I found it funny. I found it quite gripping. I think there's a scene in it where Colin Farrell does something. Colin Farrell does something pretty fucking disgusting. I won't say what it is because spoilers or whatever. But that did make me wince watching it. But all in all, it was quite like a fun film. I don't know, but I think your mileage may vary. I think it's one of those films called Ballad of a Small Player. You will either love it or hate it, and I don't think there's anywhere in between. I don't think it's possible to not have an opinion on this movie, and I think a lot of people are going to fucking hate it. I'm just going to be like, what the fuck did I just watch, man? What was that? What even was that? But yeah. I think the one thing I liked about it, and I like this about one battle after another, and I like this about various filmmakers. I mean, this one thing I like about Tarantino films, I don't really know where they're going. I can't really guess where they're going in advance. I don't mean to spoil a 31-year-old film, Pulp Fiction. If you haven't seen it, please cover your ears right now. But when John Travolta, gets it in that movie, I was honestly shocked to the core. I was like, but he's the main. Oh, no. Do you know what I mean? And I like that. I like it. I like it when a movie surprises you. I like it in a satisfying way. I don't like it when a movie just puts out a load of shit and confuses you, like Inland Empire by Lynch, which I really did not like. It was the one David Lynch film I was like, I saw it at the cinema, and I was just like, I saw Mulholland Drive, I saw Lost Highway at the cinema. Big fan of David Lynch. I saw The Straight Story at the cinema. But yeah, I went to see Inland Empire at the Fact Cinema in Liverpool with my mate Matt, and we both came out just going, "What the fuck? What even was that?" So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend paying to see Ballad of a Small Player at the cinema. I might be tempted to recommend to you, my friends, to wait for it to come out on streaming or wherever you get your films. Super chats. Oh, no, we got politics, social gift memberships. Thank you, Alistair. That is very, very kind of you. Thank you. You're the best. Thank you, Alistair. You're the best. You're the best. So who's been given a gift membership and access to the Discord server, the politics social gift the Discord server today? We have Jasmo66, Gillian Hope, Christopher Bowles, Michael N, and Lee Korn, and now all members. Welcome. So Lee is a mod, but not a member. He's a mod, but not a rocker. Now you're both, mate. Hey, how cool is that? Thank you very much, Alistair. That's very kind of you. Alan Andrew says, we need an upgrade of all countries' lecky networks as a huge new salt and sand batteries to replace oil storage tanks. Yep. Agreed. I also do like the idea of people using their batteries in their cars as, energy storage. Celebrations after Hamas and Israel agree first phase of deal. I mean, that is a more measured take by The Guardian. They're not saying peace at last and, oh my God, give Nobel Peace Prize to Trump and all this bullshit. They're saying Israel and Hamas agree first phase of deal, which is very, very important that we stress that. And they don't use the word peace in that, look. They just say deal. I mean, that might have been because they couldn't fit the letters in, but peace? Okay. I'm hoping. Farage there, teachers poison our kids with Marxism. He genuinely said this. What a fucking dickhead. He appeals to the people who didn't do very well in school, doesn't he? He appeals to the people who didn't apply themselves. He appeals to the people who are just like bitter and angry about the fact that, I don't know, they didn't get to where they are in life. And they didn't get to where they are in life because they're fucking lazy. I mean, you've got to be insanely lazy to be so fucking, I don't know, have so little opinion of yourself that you can't be arsed thinking for yourself, that you let someone else do your thinking for you. Someone who doesn't pose questions or have a discussion, someone who just says stuff like Trump or Farage or Boris Johnson, and you just go, yeah, thank you, Master, for doing all my thinking for me. Thank you, Master. Nigel Farage must not go to Hogwarts. Ex-Radio 1 DJ charged with 4 counts of rape. I hope he gets done for it. It's very difficult to prove rape cases. So many people get away with it, unfortunately, because we don't believe the victims. Peace at last. Relief and joy as Gaza deal agreed. Again, the Independent using the word deal rather than peace deal. Trump to visit Middle East after momentous breakthrough. I bet he cancels his trip now because he didn't get his fucking gong. Ceasefire will follow approval by Netanyahu's top cabinet. I thought they already did that. Oh no, it was Parliament. It was the Parliament that agreed. Israel and Hamas agree to first phase of US-led ceasefire plan for Gaza war. The Financial Times really spelling out their US-led ceasefire plan, not a peace plan. Ceasefire plan. Deal on hostages close. Trump hails momentous breakthrough. Diplomats warn of challenges ahead. Well, that's what I've been saying. And Sunak to accept senior advisory roles at Microsoft and AI startup Anthropic. Really? That's funny. He needs some money, doesn't he? Poor fella. He said it at an ultra-nationalist Christian event in the US yesterday. What a fucking piece of shit. Ultra-national Christian event. They're looking out for our best interests, aren't they? Glad the meds are working for you. My ADHD meds seem to have no effect. I had to do me. I've been sent a blood. This is how old I am now. I'm sent a blood pressure monitor thing. And I had to take my readings yesterday. That was funny. I had to take like 3 readings. Yeah. Apparently my heartbeat my heart rate is a bit low. It should be like between 60 and 100. Apparently mine's about like 54. So I'm either a top athlete or I'm not very healthy. One of the two. But yeah, I've got to do that because I'm starting titration for medication. Sorry, the God has appeared. Hello, God. How are you doing? Come in, you old fool. Why did you invent mosquitoes, you sadistic fuck? Okay, I'm just going to turn this down a little bit. Sorry, I'm clanging against the microphone. I'm not too dark now. Fucking hell, God. Stop it with your godly fucking presence, will you bastard? Sunak knows fuck all about tech. Absolutely nothing! Screams Nick and Tiff. Capital letters, 2 exclamation marks. Yeah, but he's rich, you know. He's rich and powerful and well connected. Well connected to the Winchester set. He went to Winchester. Down the Winchester, have a pint, wait till it all blows over. For fuck's sake, Starmer is replicating a lot of old women in Downing Street with consensualist men. Maybe I'll slow down so I actually read what you're saying. Sorry about this. Chris C, thank you. Number 3. Who's number 1? For FFS, Starmer is replacing a lot of women in Downing Street with sensualist men. He has officially lost the plot. The cabinet reshuffle blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. Why you moved David Lammy? Why you moved Johnny Reynolds? I have no fucking clue. I don't know. I don't know why that happened. But there you go. I have just got a message from Kat. She's out at the moment. And she says, OMG, you're right. Oh, God, they are the most beautiful words in the English language, aren't they? You're right. You're right. Asher's new album is amazing, capitals. That instrumental intro track, Heart Eyes, and finally their version of Jump the Line, which is quite fun. Jump the Line from... It was Harry Belafonte who originally sung Jump the Line. It feels like it should have been a Harry Belafonte song, even if it wasn't. Harry Belafonte! But, you know, famous from being from Beetlejuice, the original Beetlejuice. Don't say it again, or he will turn up. So, yeah. That's our review. So it came out on the same day as Taylor Swift. It was actually got to number 2. Asher's new album, Ad Astra. It got to number 2 in the singles in the album charts on iTunes yesterday, which is remarkable considering the competition it had. Number 1 was Taylor Swift. Maybe if they hadn't released it on the same day as Taylor Swift, they might have had a number 1 album again. Which they had back in the 90s, didn't they, with 1977, which came out in 1986. So well done, Ash. There's a song on there called Fun People that they did in collaboration with Graham Cox and honestly, it's one of the best songs. It's one of my songs of the year. It is really good. It is really good. Jump on the Line. Yes, it is. Sorry. Who originally sung Jump on the Line? Jump on the Line. Clip a song by Lord Kitchener. Composed by Lord Kitchener. What? Lord Kitchener of I Want You to Join the Army of Sudan of cartoon fame. No, it was Harry Belafonte did the original. Yeah, I thought it was. That's a great thing to just shout to people randomly in the streets, you know. You know, if you see someone and they need to have a good day, you know, just wind down the window and shout, Harry Belafonte! Thumbs up and they'll be so happy and confused and happy for the rest of the day. What a name. Who are you? Says One Angry Pain, the new number 2. Who are you? We're getting some Prisoner vibes here. All the way from Port Merion. Honestly, The Prisoner is fucking amazing. And I'm amazed that not many people seem to have made the connection between Severance and Prisoner. You know, the Apple TV show Severance that people have been raving about. The Prisoner, Patrick McGowan. Yeah, I'm seeing the parallels. You are number 6. So they had a festival down in Wales, in Port Merion. They had a festival called the Number 6 Festival. It was organised by Luke Bainbridge, who's a quite a famous person in the Manchester scene. In fact, Luke's name was on the credits of 24-Hour Party People. If you watch that film, it comes up with thanks to Luke Bainbridge, and he created the Number 6 Festival at Portmeirion, which I went 1 year, and it was fucking awesome. It was really good. Did it go 1 year? Maybe it went 2 years. I can't remember. No, I think it just only went once. But that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Saw New Order. No, Lord Kitchener was a West Indian calypso famous singer. Lord Kitchener. Yeah, I know. I'm just joking. I didn't think it was really the guy with the big fuck off mustache. Could you remember? Actually, that'd be quite funny if we could go on, use some good AI and get Lord Kitchener off the poster to do Jump on the Line. North Wales really is stunning. It absolutely is, Nick and Diff. I grew up in North Wales, well, at the weekends and holidays and stuff. We spent a lot of time there. It was our sort of a second home. Half my family live in Wales, so yeah, very, very close to my heart is Wales. Not that I can speak any fucking Welsh. I can say Bodidar. That's about it. Then Nicky from Iron Maiden comes on the drums. What? Harry Belafonte! Big mates with MLK Jr. Read his book, My Song. The first chapter is scary. Ooh, okay. Richie Goff says, I recently got into Aurora. She has an amazing voice. Pop is not my thing, but her vocals are ethereal. Can I just also recommend one of my songs of the year, which is Good Boy by Paris Paloma. Honestly, it is fucking awesome. Like, just watch the music video. Just watch the fucking music video. It's all about the oligarchy. It's about the, not the oligarchy, the patriarchy. It's all about the patriarchy and the oligarchy, I suppose. Has the money trickled down yet? Martin says, I can see North Wales from here. I can see my house from here. Yeah, and now One Eyed Pagan has the Iron Maiden song Prisoners stuck in his head. Sorry, my friend. Didn't mean to do that to you, but there you go. I feel like you somehow did that to yourself. Anyway, so I'm going to head back to the papers. We're almost through them. We started the papers really early, and it's taken a long time to get through them all. But yes, and we have a story here. Just a little quick one here in the corner. See what it says briefing? Or come on. Up here, can you see where my pointer is saying briefing? HSBC offers 13.6 billion to own all of Hang Seng Bank. So Europe's largest bank has made an offer to buy out minority investors in Hong Kong's Hang Seng Bank as it presses on with a revamp. The all-cash deal values Hang Seng at 290 billion Hong Kongian dollars. That is just crazy money. That is absolutely crazy money. But it's all about consolidation and bringing these big financial institutions together and giving consumers less choice between, these are the things, these are the monopolies that governments need to try and break up. But instead, we're getting Disney, Time Warner, Discovery, AOL on. All getting merged together into these mega corps. Don't forget, Disney own Marvel Studios, but they also own 20th Century Fox, which is kind of random and weird that you're going on Disney Plus to watch new Alien content. But there you go. There you go, my friends. You have to type it in the name of Walt Disney to watch something with, loads of violence and pornography in it. Like, not sure this is what Walt wanted, but what Walt intended. But it is Disney Plus, so it's the dark stuff that he had in his cellar. Probably just a lot of Nazi memorabilia. Can he sue me? I don't think he can sue me for saying that. He's dead. Richie Goff says, I saw Maiden in South Africa when Blaze Bailey was fronting. I'd love to see them again. Yes. Right now, I need to move on. Catch you later for the agenda. And that is my cue to go. I've been rabbiting on for an hour and a half now, so it's a bit late getting started. But I shall return like a bad penny, like the prodigal son, to you at 1 o'clock today for the agenda. Me and Phil Morehouse, where we're going to be talking a bit about the Greens. We're going to be talking about Zach Polanski, his performance on Question Time last night, which was pretty good. Also, I'll be talking a little bit about the fact that the Greens in Scotland didn't shower themselves in glory yesterday. We'll be getting into that. And we're talking about the Tory party conference and just what a fucking disaster it was. What a hilarious disaster it was on all fronts, despite the newspapers going, Kemi Badnoch made a really good speech. No, he didn't. Shit, it was fucking shit. It was fucking shit, mate. There was only one thing in it about stamp duty, which only affects 1% of the population. You know, Nepo babies who want to buy a house that's worth more than $500,000. That's it. We'll be talking about that. And then at 9:30 tonight, we have the Friday night social. Hopefully Mike Dix will be back from his absence. Last week, he was supposed to be on the show, but he couldn't make it, unfortunately. But this week, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have Mike Dix on there. And others, possibly our friend Scott might come on to say hello. Ollie, if he's not too busy, Ollie Bowler Hatman might be putting in an appearance. I'm going to try my best to get Super Tansky to come on as well. So we will see. We'll see. She's got absolutely nothing better to do to come on and be overtalked by a group of men. We'll try not to do that. Okay, so please join us, and we might even have a cameo from the delightful Wayne Lynch coming on to join his milk round. So we'll see. We will see. Andrew Ray, Elon now is the first half trillionaire. We're fucked. Yeah. You would think with all of his failed enterprises that people would stop believing the hype, but people want to believe. Unfortunately, people want to believe, even if it's bullshit. People just want to believe something. I'll see you at 1:00. Okay, take care. Give us a like on the way out, please, because we like a like, and also if you can, please consider joining the channel. Get your name at the end of the credits when I update them. And also you will get access to the Politics Social Discord server where you can keep the conversation going about, anything and everything. Just be respectful. That's all I ask. Please be respectful, because we don't really want to be upsetting people on here. And be aware that some people see the world differently to you. And it's not because they're bad people or they're ignorant or they don't understand. It's because they see the world differently to you. And that's just the way we are, because we're all humans. And as long as they're not being a bigot, and racist, a homophobe, a transphobe, then, go with God. Go with God, my friends. Or whichever deity you believe or not believe in. So I will be back at 1:00 and then again at 9:30. So until then, I'll say thank you so much for watching. Thanks for the super chats. Really appreciate that. And until 1:00, my friends, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.